you know why we use these stones? To remind us not to fear death. We close our eyes on this world and open them on the next.
You must long for the next life.
In truth, I fear that too.
You imprisoned and humiliated my sister.
Your sister sought the gods' mercy and atoned for her sin.
What about my sins? I broke a sacred oath and stabbed my king in the back. I killed my own cousin. When the gods judged my brother guilty, I helped him escape that justice. What atonement do I deserve?
Hi everybody, I'm Peter Travers and welcome to Popcorn, where we tell you what's popping in the pop culture, and if there's anything that pops, it is Game of Thrones. My guest today, Nikolaj Coster-Waldau, is Jaime Lannister, and he's kind of worked his way into our heads and hearts over these 6 seasons that we've seen. So, Nick, welcome.
Thank you.
It's great to have you here. What is season 6 now because of the fact that George Martin's books are over? You got to invent things.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. I mean, I think Dan Weiss, David Benioff, the two writers, creators of the show, you know, of course, they've had discussions with George R. R. Martin and how he imagines the series to end. But having said all that, it's their show now, and it's their story. And I think once the books come out, it will be quite different from the show, which is cool. You know, you've had all these years where so many people read the books and they've been discussing, and you know, that thing, I know that feeling myself. I read a book, I love a book, and then you see it and it's never going to live up to that. Now it's kind of a level playing field for everyone. And I think reading the scripts for season 6, I thought it was the strongest season of all of them.
Was it 2011, right? That was the first season of Game of Thrones, where your Jaime Lannister was having sex with his sister, having children with her, throwing a little boy out of a tower.
Beautiful.
Yes, we all went like, what? What did we just see? But slowly, we're kind of seeing something more in this.
Well, I think it's one of the. I'd never done a show for this long, and you know, we've had, after this season, 60 hours of telling a story. You have time to get to know these characters, and you have. You know, when I read episode 1, I thought this is an amazing starting point for a character. And then they told me the arc of the first 3 seasons, and I thought this was really, really interesting because, you know, we judge people by their actions, and it's easy to get really, especially today, we want to put people like, okay, he's a bad guy, he's a good guy.
The box.
The box.
Action is character.
And then you realize, well, it's more complicated than that, especially when you find out why people do what they do. The question here is, if he didn't do what he did, pushing Bran out the window, and Bran ran and told someone what he'd just seen, well, it would mean the death of Jaime's children and his sister. So suddenly it's a choice between this kid or my kids. It's still a horrible thing to do, but you kind of understand that, hey, maybe. The same with him killing the Mad King, earning the name Kingslayer. Yeah. That's a horrible thing to do. He broke his oath. But we find out later, well, he did it. He did that to save hundreds of thousands of people at King's Landing. So maybe it's not just black and white.
But I'm glad to see you sitting here with both hands.
I know.
What do you, I mean,
Isn't
because that right hand is lost.
It's lost. It's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah. He has now joined the elite group of the Luke Skywalkers and such. Yeah.
Really? What do you do with it when you're playing that?
Well, in the beginning, it was a pain in the butt. I actually sometimes had to hide my own arm down.
Really on the
backside.
So it's like a pain in the butt for real.
Or the front, and then you have this stump hanging out, the prosthetic. Now he has the golden hand, which is basically a golden metal glove that I put on, so it's not too bad.
It's not too bad. When they decided, or they told you that this was going to happen,
I thought it was great.
You did? I thought maybe you thought you were being punished.
No, I thought it was great. I thought
that you had asked for a raised hand.
Exactly.
They said no.
Yeah, no. I just think obstacles are great. To watch a character with obstacles, as an actor, to have obstacles is great. It's like if you watch a movie like The Revenant that won the Oscar. They don't have to, they are out there. They're shooting in the cold, in the water. You don't have to worry too much about acting. Just be
Survive.
there. Just react to what's there.
How long in a year are you working on Game of Thrones?
5 months.
That's a lot of time.
It's a lot of time, but still, it still allows you time to do other stuff, which is amazing. I mean,
What about time for life? You have a wife and 2 children?
I do. I have a wife
Did
and
they
2
see
children.
you?
They do see me. I mean, Skype is a beautiful thing. No, I see them all the time. They come and visit. I have a terrible story.
I love that kind of story.
When I was, this is in 2007. I was shooting here, and I had my at the time 3-year-old was. My wife told me that one day the kid had gone to the computer. Oh, she was 2 years old. She'd gone to the computer and knocked on the screen. Daddy, Daddy. Then I know it's time to come home.
That's who you are.
I don't know if it's true.
You're
My wife told.
coming
Maybe it was just my wife trying to wind me up. But
a little guilt, maybe she was trying to inflict on you.
Yeah, but it's a funny story.
Are they like big Game of
Oh
Thrones?
no! They don't watch.
See, that every actor that I talk to that has anything like that, the kids go, "You're kind of embarrassing."
Yeah.
You know, I go to school and I don't.
No, they don't watch anything. I mean, I think. You know, just imagine watching your father or your mother pretending to be someone else. It's just too weird. And you know, I remember I did a film a couple of years ago with Susanne Bier called A Second Chance, and it came out. It was a Danish film, and there was a trailer that came out. And in the trailer, there was a shot of me crying, and my youngest saw that, and she got really upset. Like, you just don't want to see that. Or they saw clips from The Other Woman where I was making out with other girls, and they were like, "That's disgusting, Dad. Why? Why would you do that?"
You do
It's
that
my
when
job.
we have to live in the world.
I know, we have to suffer the consequences of your ambitions. And
Seeing you and it's just awful.
Yeah.
It's just awful. But I keep hearing that there are pranks aplenty on the set of Game of Thrones.
yeah, I mean, of course, I mean, Dan and David.
They plan?
They've done a few. They did a really good one on Kid. This was season 3. He got a script, and it said that he was caught up in a fire. He survives, but all his lips are melted off. So from now on, he'll have this grin on his face. And Kid believed it, and he was like, okay, well, right, I'm gonna have to make this work. I mean, that's all right. I'm just gonna look weird though. And the makeup artist, he was like, yeah, well, we're going to make this prosthetic. It's going to be quite big. It's going to take at least 4 hours to put on. Oh, right, okay, that's great. But then, of course, he walked on set, and then they couldn't. They started laughing.
Didn't happen.
Alfie Allen got a script where he was just killed off, and he was the same. He was like, okay, if it's time, it's time. I did one
Holding back all that.
yeah, I did one on them. On Dan and David, where I was back home, and I wrote them that there was so much talk. I had longer hair early on in the show, and there was constantly talk about, should we cut it, shouldn't we cut it, what's going to happen with the hair. So I wrote them this long letter where I pretended like a very like a diva, like an actor who felt like he was being left out of the conversation. So I
Never
wrote
heard
this,
of such a thing.
No, exactly. So I wrote this letter saying, listen, guys, I just feel as an artist, I'm being left out, and I need, for my own integrity, I have to take control of my character. So I've decided to go ahead and because Jamie is a soldier, I want him to have a buzz cut. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I hope you respect me as an artist that I have to do this. I'll send you a picture when it's done. And then I waited until the next day, and then I sent them a picture, which was just. I found this still picture from, I did a pilot called Virtuality, where I was completely almost shaven, and I sent that to them, and I didn't hear back. And then I'm flying to Belfast the next day, and I get a call when I arrive from the second AD. They didn't call me, but they called everyone else at HBO to the top brass, and they were like freaking out completely. They had the hairstylist getting hold of wigs and trying, because you can't just make a wig in like 24 hours. It was amazing. It was a beautiful moment.
So you got them.
I got them.
somebody.
I got them really bad.
Because usually when you use the phrase but me as an artist,
Yeah, they
can't
become
really,
people get scared. Then oh
Yeah,
my God,
it's like-
well if that's the magic word. You can't deal with when they're artists. That's emotions, and
it's way too much.
That's
You
too
can't-
much.
You just can't go there at
know.
any time.
But then, of course, the problem was they were going to get me back. Now, they still haven't done that, but I've been living in anticipation for all these years.
It's going to happen.
It's going. I mean, I had.
It's going to happen in
No,
season
it's gonna
6
happen.
when they kill Jamie, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but also I was sure they were going to do something horrible. I would every time I came to my trailer, I would expect something was in there, and of course, nothing was
That's
there.
a bad way to live, but it's
It's a
really
horrible-
great
it's just-
torture.
how are
It's
these-
real. You can eat it. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, it's okay, I guess. It's burning under the lights all the time. You know, what the heck?
Yeah, they've been standing there for how long?
6.5 weeks, would you say? No. I think it gets changed every day. Let me ask you about some of your especially Lena Headey, who
Yes,
is
she's
your
amazing.
sister, your lover, that episode where we didn't know whether it was rape or whether it was consensual. But how do you two discuss something like that,
Oh, we
even though it's
discussed it-
written not by the two of you?
We never thought of it as rape. Mm-hmm. We thought of it as two people who had they've been lovers for more than 20 years. They
Look at the
have
children they've had.
They have children.
Mm-hmm.
And they've also had a relationship where every moment would have to be grabbed in secret, and you would only have so much time. A very physical relationship, and then two people in extreme pain at this point, just needing each other. And it came out in that very, very dark, weird, twisted scene in front of their dead son. I mean, doesn't get it.
I just putting the dead son there was
That
the
was
real
but
ultimate
that-
touch.
But the funny thing, that was what that's what we discussed. That's what we said. People are gonna freak out over the fact we're having sex in front of our son. But it was not about that. It became about, did he rape her? Did he not rape her? But by the way, I think it's great that you have these scenes in Game of Thrones that people get so, angry or so emotional about, or there's so much discussion. That's great. That's what you want people to.
Yeah, we're
that's how you want them
invested.
to react.
Yeah.
Now, of course, we never saw it coming in that particular way, but hey, it's not bad.
What to you that doesn't involve you on the show, your character,
Yeah.
gets you when you're watching this?
I think the whole theme of this other huge threat with the White Walkers. I mean, when I read about it first, I was like, "This is crazy. This is insane." But now it's just become I'm so intrigued by this thing because there's something about the fact that you have all these people fighting for this Iron Throne, and then we, as an audience, we know this doesn't matter. You don't worry about that. You should worry about the winter, the real winter that's coming.
I read somewhere that you,
Yeah.
growing up in Denmark, you were in a town with no more than 40 people.
That's true. Chupia.
I was going to say that. It was going to
Yeah.
slip
No, a
off my
tiny
tongue.
village. One of those villages built around a huge farm, and then the houses there used to be for the farm workers. Now, regular people can live there. And yeah, I grew up there, and it was a great childhood. And then, yeah, so quite far away from this world.
That's a strange thing in a village of 40.
Yeah.
Where you sit there and say, I'm not really thinking of the Iron Throne and the House of Lannister, but I am thinking of being an actor.
I just loved watching movie. Every Sunday there would be like some movie on TV, and then usually it would be like a Western or like a John Ford movie, and I just loved it. And then later on, and television shows, of course, Hill Street Blues. Earlier on, the first one I remember was Soap. I just loved that show. Amazing, right?
It kind of is. I'm trying to think of this village and you watching Soap. Right.
Yeah.
That's it. Perfect.
Well, and then, when I got into my teens, I remember seeing, which was kind of profound for me, I saw Once Upon a Time in America, and I just completely identified with Noodles, the character played by Rob De Niro. I mean, every step of his emotional journey, I was there, I felt it, and I do remember, Sonny, it struck me that this is, how amazing is that? I'm living in this tiny village in this country in the north of Europe, and I have 100% connection with this kid growing up in New York, turn of the century.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of storytelling. And that whole thing about realizing, well, the human experience, we might have, the circumstances might be very, very different, but at the core, we're not that different. You know, we all kind of have the same dreams and hopes for our lives. And then I think, you know, imagine what it would be like if I could one day maybe be part of someone telling a story and someone could watch that and have that kind of experience. So I got into the drama school, National Theatre School in Denmark when I was, you know, I was 18, and then I moved to London when I was 22, and I guess the beauty of being young is that you have no idea that it's not supposed to happen, or the odds are against you. I never thought about the odds, right? You just do it. You go, oh, of course I'm going to be able to do this. And then I got lucky, and you need luck.
Well, you do.
Yeah.
We talked a little before the thing. I remember you in a movie called Night Watch, where you were playing a college student working in a mortuary. You know. And
it was funny because sometimes
I remember you screaming. It was like,
yeah. It was my first job. I was just out of drama school. Well, I was still at drama school when I got it, and it was another little coincidence. I did a short film with a director called Peter Flynn. He was at film school. I was at theater school. We did this little short that the director of Night Watch saw, so I got that job. And when I told friends, this was in Denmark, and at the time, genre movies was really not something you did. We did this. This was a thriller, you know, a horror movie. So everyone was like, "That's never gonna work. It's terrible." And then, of course, it did work. And in a weird way, the same thing happened with Game of Thrones. When I got that, I told friends, well, I'm doing this HBO show. They go, well, that's amazing. And what's it about? Is it like gangsters? What is it? No, it's about dragons, and it's a fantasy. And people go, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's
good luck with that.
I remembered interviewing Peter Dinklage before Game of Thrones, and he kept a cap to hide the hair. And I said, why are you hiding your hair? And he said, I'm doing this HBO thing. I don't know. And look what happened.
I know.
Look, so it's a great thing.
It's amazing.
A great thing. Well, it's been a pleasure having you here, but
it's
the first time, so you don't know we always end in song.
Oh, we end in song?
We end in song. Now, you're married to a very famous singer.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you sing constantly. And
she sings.
She sings constantly. But you went to a school for dance and for music.
A drama, a National Theatre School.
There was some.
We did have classes in singing. I did take a lot of classes.
It's okay. We're not asking for a lot of song.
Just a little bit.
A little bit.
All right. A Danish song.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah. Der mange, mange kugler, der går min næse forbi. Men det rager mig en bønne, for jeg har min fantasi.
Did that mean I will never give a spoiler?
Exactly. Whatever you say. It means basically. There are so many things you can do in life, and so many things that's never going to happen to you. But I don't give a damn because I have my imagination.
What a perfect answer to everything in life. Nikolaj, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
That was great.